Hello and welcome to the A&P. I am Alex Johansson and my co-host Patrick McCallum. Patrick,
Hello, everyone. How are you getting on?
we're having logical discussions about the state of the world. Let's get into it, brother.
Hey, Patrick, how you doing, bud?
Not too bad at all, buddy. So we're doing a few articles today. Something changing up the format, as they say.
Well, your friend Russell Findlay from Scotland, is a Tory leader, you were telling me?
Yeah. So he was saying that the asylum hotel protesters are understandable, says Scottish Tory leader.
Oh, it's understandable that they're rioting and protesting and such?
Yeah. You can understand anger among people and so on, as they say.
Oh, there it is. Asylum hotel protests, understandable, says Scottish Tory leader.
Yes.
Okay. The authors are David Wallace Lockhart and Angus Cochrane. Those aren't very Scottish.
Sounds pretty Scottish to me, but
All right, so I'm going to read some of this and let's see what we got here.
Mm.
It is understandable that people are protesting outside of hotels housing asylum seekers, the leader of the Scottish Conservatives has said. That's Mr. Findlay. He insisted that lawful demonstrations were entirely reasonable. Yeah. Yes. I got it 3 times now, right away. They have a premise for the article. All right. Anti-immigration protests have been held in Perth, Aberdeenshire, and Falkirk this month, with officials raising fears as the events could turn violent. Campaign group Stand Up to Racism Scotland accused Findlay of scapegoating refugees. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. How do you scapegoat a group of people that are in fact...
we actually looked up to Stand Up to Racism Scotland. A very, 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 very small group.
Well, they got 11,000. They got 11,000 on Facebook, right?
Yeah, but in reality, when you see the protests of what, 2 dozen? Maybe 3 dozen on a good day.
Right, but if you're in Edinburgh or if you're in Glasgow, you can go find their chapter and whatever. See what the heck they have to say. But when they check the numbers of those who are incarcerated in England, the ones that aren't in there for naughty tweets are, generally speaking, a majority of them are immigrants. That's that's the numbers, right? Native-born British citizens don't seem to be incarcerated at quite the same rate.
Not the same rate, but it is pretty high over there at the moment when it comes to immigration.
Right.
The immigrants at the moment, yeah.
Well, the thing that I find is strange is
that it's the level of crime as well. It's the nature of their crimes.
Right.
It's pretty horrific, as we'll see there at the moment.
Not the best. Well, the numbers for last year was 11 or 12,000 had been arrested and done some time in the clink for naughty tweets, for retweeting something else someone said because someone got their feeling hurt. Like
11,000 people were questioned and talked to, but
not incarcerated.
Not incarcerated. That's how I've always said. You always read the full article.
Right, but they still had to pay fines.
I shot the article myself, and then I read down and was going, okay, about not even 2 dozen were. Yeah.
Right. But the problem is they're being talked to about something that they said. So no freedom of expression or free speech, right? Like, because somebody said their feeling got hurt, we're going to take their word. Was it sticks and stones may break my bones? But somebody said something like that.
But remember, I keep saying that it's a really badly written law.
Right.
Yeah, it's going to lead to very bad decisions, and which it has led to very, very just absolute silliness, to be honest.
For sure. Well, it's the same with that Bill C-16 out of Canada, the one that included you can't say naughty things, and then if you say the naughty thing, we'll fine you, and if you don't pay the fine, you go to jail. So functionally, you can be imprisoned for saying something somebody else subjectively said hurt their feeling, right?
Yeah, but you'll see that a lot of developing countries, a lot of countries at the moment in the developed world are coming up with these laws that are based on good intentions, but they just don't really work in the reality of the real world.
Right.
Tie up resources that should be used somewhere else. You see quite a lot of it. I see a lot of in the United States. Every now and again, you'll get a couple of states that try to curtail the freedom of speech.
Oh, California was good about that. I believe the governor here decided that if you say something bad toward him, he was going to have a bit of a problem with it. So it.
Well, I've seen it raise its head in more conservative states over there as well,
right.
where you speak out against God and stuff like that. Has to be, yeah. Right. It's silly. As I say, there's silly laws that normally don't make it into the real world. They don't escape the pen and paper, as they say. But
it seems like
pretty robust over there when it comes to those kind of freedoms.
Well, it seems like the victim group mentality just tends to permeate everything. If I can say I'm a victim, then I can say you're a bad guy, and I can other you, and then I can, again, the process is the punishment, put you through some process that you would rather not have bothered with at all. And it's invasive.
It is, and plus it ties up an awful lot of your resources. You see it over in Britain. You have 2 or 3 cops calling to every time there's an angry tweet, and you're kind of going, why don't you just go up and catch real criminals?
That would probably be a better idea. Those who are affecting the social mores in a negative fashion and violating the rules and acting outside the Overton window, that might be a better use of your resources, as opposed to, you said a naughty thing. So why didn't the person say, hey, look, in the marketplace of ideas, I don't believe your idea has merit. Let's talk about this. No,
don't get me wrong. If a person has serious threats online to another individual, now that's something you should investigate. But if it's just throwaway comments, they shouldn't be. Common sense should tell you where that line is, even though the law says otherwise.
Right, but if I go online and say, Patrick McCallum is a butthead, right, we get all kinds of comments like that all the time. People telling us that they don't agree with us and we're some evil this and that, or what, like, you know, the guys that like to yell and say, you guys are dumb. Okay.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they don't realize that we can actually, they don't realize we can just press a button. And
right. Well, and the thing is if they're too egregious, we just block them. Right. I don't have to engage with the thing I don't want to engage with. And if somebody says something in a space, I just don't engage with it. I don't go, my feelings are hurt. I'm going to call the county sheriff and he's going to come arrest you. And just don't. Just don't do it.
But law enforcement should have a small bit of cop on as well when it comes to this.
Oh, yeah. They should be able to say, okay, look, like he said a thing. Okay. So just ignore them. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Does it cross a line to real criminality?
Right.
If the answer is no, just ignore it. Just move on with your day.
Is it some form of assault, right? Is it a threat on your person? If it's not, then leave it alone. Or engage with it and go, hey, you know, maybe your concept lacks. Let's figure it out, bud.
I've seen some of the people who are being jailed over in Britain. And some of them you're looking at going, okay, that's a throwaway comment, that was stupid. But there's a few cases where they did cross the line into criminality, proper criminality, not just
for sure
feelings. Yeah,
but the percentage of that is rather small. It's
just very small. Tiny,
it's just like that guy that yelled at you and said, "We're not going to sit down in the pub and have a pint." It doesn't work like that, Patrick. You're a butthead. Okay, yeah, I'm a butthead. So what? I'm still bro. Yeah, I'm gonna drink that Guinness whether you're there or not. And if you want to sit down and chat while I have that Guinness, sweet, let's do that.
Yeah, I was looking at the comments, and he was definitely interesting is the word I'm going to use. It's only polite word I can use on YouTube.
Well, his caps lock key was locked in.
Yes,
he's dialed in on that. So
let's press the button. Good luck.
All right, so the Scottish Tory leader, speaking to journalists after a speech in Glasgow, raised the case of Sadiq Niqsad, an asylum seeker from Afghanistan who was jailed for 9 years in June for
a crime against a 15-year-old girl.
Yes, and if you're watching, you can see what the crime is, but if you're listening, it's the bad one. It's the one we don't really that one. So
yes.
All right, we have a picture here from PA Media. Apparently, Perth is full. Empty the hotels. And we got the old Union Jack out there. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Finlay told BBC Scotland News it is understandable. Again, it is understandable. In those circumstances, why communities would question the entire integrity and safety of the immigration system. Based on who's incarcerated, it makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
Right? If you can't protect those who don't have agency yet, then there's a problem, right?
Yeah.
So, and I think as long as that's being done lawfully and respectfully, that it's entirely right that they have the right to protest. That should be the right anywhere that you have
Yes.
freedom to assemble.
Because I've
right?
always said, if you agree or disagree with people, everyone has the right to protest,
Right.
no matter who they are. No matter how crazy they are or who they are, everyone should have the right to protest.
He's using one of my favorite words here. You're going to like this one. He said, any unlawful activity, in quotes, should be dealt with robustly by the police and the courts. Now, I don't know what he means when he says robustly, the fullest extent of the law. You know what I'm saying? That's a politician word right there. They should deal with it robustly, Patrick. It should be robust and it's being dealt with. Oh my god.
Oh, he definitely went to private school.
I'm telling you, you gotta do something with those Tories, bro. They're using that robust language again. So,
yes.
Finley told reporters that the UK needed to attract good quality immigration and that the system should be fair. But it's not fair because as we were watching with that Crowder thing from the other day, your Somali immigrants are costing you $1.14 million per individual over their lifetime. And their children are costing that much as well because they're also not integrating, right?
Yeah. It costs the UK that much every year. It's probably costing in Ireland here probably equally as much, if not more.
Well, and later it's going to show you some real numbers as to what the total cost is from the Home Office there. So, all right, here we go. But Stand Up to Racism Scotland said the protests were designed to intimidate people who have fled war, poverty, or persecution. Okay. People fleeing poverty isn't your concern. It is not your job as a country to financially support everyone. My children eventually left the house. It was no longer my function to provide for them. And I didn't take the neighbor's kid to my house and say, I'm going to pay for you too, because your family's not doing great. You know what I'm saying?
I understand what you mean, yeah.
We all have a difficult life in some fashion. We all do. No. It's just the way that it is, right?
Yeah.
A spokesperson said, we condemn Findlay's attempt to point the blame for the problem affecting working class people today. Working class people today away from those responsible and instead to scapegoat migrants and refugees. The working class people are not demonstrating in the middle of the day on Thursday. Your people are, right? The working class people have better things to do with their time. And apparently it's to make a lot of money so the government can, through taxation, which again is a form of theft, take your money and pay for things that they told you they don't want. You do not want them. Please close our borders. We're an island. Why are they getting here and we're not controlling? It's an island. Ireland, same thing, right?
Yes.
But the United States has a bit of an issue because of a Canadian and a Mexican border. I get it. But an island, all you got to do is say no. They get off the plane. They don't get out of the safe area and you turn them around and go buy a ticket back to wherever you came from. If you're on a boat, turn your boat around. Don't come here, right? There's a thing called a 50 caliber round. When you put it in a boat, the boat goes down, right? Yeah. Like it's an island. Stop that.
Let's I understand what you're saying, and I've seen that rhetoric online.
Well, and honestly, it can be controlled. It can be very effectively controlled. So there's a reason from somewhere that it's not being controlled. I don't know why they would not choose to adhere to what the constituency there in Britain wants. Why would the entirety of the UK say, we don't want this, and they continue to get it?
Yeah. I think it's not just the UK, by the way. It's most Western countries are getting a bit tired of it. It's just the sheer numbers, as they say.
Well, everybody's fatigued. We're done with it, right?
Yeah.
All right. Protests have been held outside hotels across the UK in recent months following a wave of violence directed toward asylum seekers in England last summer. Okay. Council leaders in Perth have warned the events could turn violent and said many protesters have been bussed in from elsewhere, obviously, because they move them to places and put them in the places where they're housed. I think that people are unhappy.
That's going to happen everywhere.
Right. Well, people are unhappy that they're getting these super nice hotel rooms, right? Like, why are they getting luxury accommodations and I'm getting this ugly flat, right? You know, and the loo barely works. Like, what's going on here? You know, and they have a concierge and, you know, all the bells and whistles, right? So, council officials also accused some protesters of spreading misinformation about people in the asylum system. You know what I don't see here?
Yeah.
I don't see anything of evidentiary value. You know, Jane from Aberdeen said this, right? Johnny from Falkirk said this. No, this is like people are making vague accusations. We don't know where they came from, but we're going to go ahead and cite them. That just seems sloppy. All right.
Yeah.
At a demonstration outside a former hotel in Falkirk, at least one person performed a Nazi salute while another carried a banner that said, "Kill them all, let God sort them out." Okay, so that's two people, and the law enforcement should have said, "Hey, fella, you can't do that."
Probably, the law enforcement, knowing the British police, they probably did go over and have a chat with these guys. Definitely.
Well, I don't know how many people were out there. If it's 5,000 people and 2 people were, you know, being buttheads, well, then you escort them out.
You're going to get that by the way, you're going to get that in every demonstration, no matter how well planned.
There's going to be some dude that leans way the hell out there.
There's always going to be some, you know,
numpty.
Fully screwed in individual.
You can say numpty. It's okay. We get numpty. We get numpties at protests. It's all right. I learned the word. I know what it means.
Everywhere in the world.
A funny word. Not as funny as bollocks, but definitely funny. All right. So Saltires have already appeared in Aberdeen. That's the Scottish flag. I'll show you a little picture of it right there. There's the Saltires right there.
I had to explain that to you earlier, didn't I?
All right. And then there's some footballer out there out on the side of that building.
Yeah, I had to explain that earlier, by the way, to the audience.
Why are you outing me like that? Rude. So rude. All right.
The sad thing is I had to Google it earlier myself, so.
I just called it the Scottish flag. Anyway.
Yes, there we go.
This mimics the recent flying of St. George's flags and Union Jacks on England's streets. So people are starting to nationalize a little bit and say, look, we want to protect our culture and you are destroying it against our will. So, as well as the Scottish events, demonstrations were held in several parts of England, as well as Mold in Wales and County Antrim in Northern Ireland. Oh, there's Northern Ireland, your buddies. The BBC has identified. Go ahead.
No, there is quite a lot of protests in Northern Ireland at the moment. Not just County Antrim, but I see it in quite a few places in Northern Ireland at the moment.
Well, they're good for it. They like doing that. So, the BBC has identified far-right activists at some protests, which have been promoted on social media under red, white, and blue banner text with slogans such as "Protect our community," "Safety of women and children before foreigners," and "All patriots welcome." That seems rather reasonable. I would like my community to be protected. I would like my women and children to be taken care of as citizens before those born of foreign nations that are just excoriating funds from us. That would be good. All right. Oh, the UK has vowed to do something as well. Let's see what they have vowed to do. Solemn vow. Here we go. The UK government has vowed to overhaul of. Oh, okay. It's strangely worded. I will read it again. The UK government has vowed to overhaul of the asylum appeals system in a bid to cut the number of migrants staying in hotels while they await a ruling. Didn't you say your buddy Nigel Farage had something to say about how easy it was to do that? We could just
Nigel Farage said just put them all on a plane and send them back, which is, I understand where that's easy to say, but logistically, it's about what, over 100,000. Not that easy to put all them on a plane.
Okay, so what you're saying is we can't just set them up in a queue, put them on a plane, and send them back to their country of origin.
Yeah, but logistically, that'll all take time.
Right.
All this will take time and logistics behind it, proper time and logistics.
Right, and a place to house them while we get them on a bird to get them out of Dodge.
All this has to be put in place, obviously. Right. And the United States is having the same issue at the moment with logistics, even with their massive resources and budget. They're having problem with logistics as well. All this takes time and energy, and people want everything done straight away. But in reality, the real world, everything like this takes time, planning, and everything else. Even with, as you say, over in the United States, they're going full bore at it, but they're still, it takes time.
Right. Well, the logistical issues we're having here is that some countries just don't want them back. Right. Venezuela's having a bit of a problem. They said no, so we ended up sending a bunch of people to a prison resort in El Salvador. So,
yeah, I've seen that. I've seen those pictures, yeah.
But there's a lot of countries that are just like, no, they're gone. We didn't want them here in the first place. You can keep them. And we're like, we don't want your criminals. Right? We don't want them. And you need to take them back. And they stomp their little foot and they say, no, we're not gonna. Eventually, they're gonna. Right? They're gonna eventually, as much as they don't want to. So, all right, so the Home Secretary has something to say as well. Home Secretary Yvette Cooper said she would end unacceptable delays with a new body staffed by independent adjudicators to be established.
Adjudicators, yeah, to be established.
Oh, thank you. That isn't American. That's not an American English function. Like you wouldn't say that.
It's actually an English word. It's
no, it's an English word. I get that, but in common parlance in the United States, like it's vocabulary, but not necessarily vernacular. It's just not generally used in that format.
No, it's not. No, yeah, you wouldn't.
But the problem with
it
right, but
it is interesting. It is interesting the way they're saying they're trying to solve the problem, but I don't think it'll go as fast. I don't think it'll be as speedy as people hope.
Well, with independent adjudicators, you run into a problem where they don't face a vote, right? I can just place people in there, and then whoever I put in there, whoever comes in behind me has to accept that they're independent adjudicators. You see what I'm saying? That's a problem. Those people should be subject to something.
They have to do something. But independent adjudicators are usually, we have similar kind of type process over here.
Okay.
They're independent, but they're appointed by the government. So they're independent, but they're still government appointees. Such. So you can the next government could obviously fire them and put other people in there.
Well, that would be good if they're subject to that. That would be amazing.
Yeah. That's. I think you're getting. I think the difference between UK and Ireland and America is kind of confusing you a small bit, but yes, they're independent, but they're put in by the government.
We have a two-party system here, so the big function or the big problem with that function here is that if you get the other team in there, they're going to dig in like ticks, right? And there's going to be all kinds of reasons they just can't stop doing the thing, and you have to keep giving me a paycheck, and you can say you're not solving the problem.
I see that over there. Yeah. I see that over there quite a lot over in the United States, and that's why having multiple parties is probably a good idea sometimes.
Yeah, you can ask Germany. The AFD is really feeling it, right? We have two more articles, so let us pull up the next one. All right, so here's our second article. Backlash over plans to house 300 asylum seekers at Inverness Barracks. Written by Stephen McKenzie and Chris McLennan, BBC Scotland News. All right. See what they have to say. Oh, there they are at the water, waiting for folks. About 300 asylum seekers are expected to be housed at Cameron Barracks in phases. All right. Concerns have been raised about community cohesion after it emerged that a military base in Inverness has been earmarked to temporarily house 300 asylum seekers. BBC News understands that Cameron Barracks and an East Sussex Army training camp will be used to house a total of about 900 men by the end of the month. So it looks like they're going to be housing 900 men. Okay?
Yes, but I think everyone wants the migration problem solved, I think, across both our islands. But unfortunately, all these guys have to go somewhere to be stored, as they say, or housed.
Right.
In some cases.
Well, they've been putting them up in really nice hotels, I hear. So.
Yeah, but unfortunately, that well is running dry at the moment, I think, on both our budgets.
Well, yeah. Well, you're paying to house an entire. Well, you pay for the entire hotel, and then you just
you're paying for the whole place. Yeah.
So you're not just paying. You're contracting out the entirety of the hotel as opposed to the third or fourth floor or whatever. Like you have to take the whole hotel because you cannot risk
the whole building.
Right. You can't risk British citizens by having them in there with the asylum seekers, right? Because then that just foments issues. It's just going to be a problem. So.
Yeah.
Both the Scottish government and 3 senior Highland councillors have highlighted concerns about the plans to the Home Office. In a joint statement, the councillors said, "Our main concern is the impact this proposal will have on community cohesion, given the scale of proposals as they currently stand." So it looks like it's all men who are functionally of a warfighting age. They're going to be housed at an army barracks. And I think it's going to talk about some security issues here in a bit, but we'll get to that when it gets to that.
There's a lot of security issues, especially where these. If you scroll down, you can see there's a picture of a map. You can see where the barracks is going to be placed. So if you scroll down, there it is. It's right in the center of the city.
Right. So, right near, in fact, city center. I see it. So that's a training area.
It's literally walking distance. Yeah, you can see the training area and so on.
Nice.
So there is a big concern about, putting 300 people right next to housing estates and so on, as you can see.
Right. Well, it said 900. So there was 300 and
Well, that's
900.
yeah.
We're going to start with the 300. Okay, cool. So
Yeah.
Inverness is a relatively small community, but the potential impact locally and across the wider Highlands appears not to have been taken into consideration by the UK government. Okay. They probably did, and they're just looking, like you said, for a place to house bodies in the interim, right?
Yes.
Scotland's
All
social
this is going to take
justice.
time and resources. People think,
Scotland's social justice secretary. What is a social justice secretary? What is that? What does that do? What's that job?
I'm not too familiar with that person in the UK.
Okay, but okay.
First time
So
I've heard of social justice. Yeah.
what kind of social justice is the social?
Scotland.
Okay.
Oh no, it's Scotland's social justice. Okay. All right.
That's very strange. Why does a social justice secretary? Why is she worrying about non-citizens? Shouldn't the social justice be on the citizens who are having an impact? Negative.
Here we go. No, I'm just looking at it. I'm just looking at it right now. It's responsible. The role covers a broad range of social welfare issues, including community planning, social security, and the third sector. The
third sector
is probably Oh, actually, it's really good pay for it, by the way.
Really? Well, what? Okay.
Yeah,
well, define
it's 118,000 pounds a year. It's posting.
Oh, well, Miss Somerville is doing very well. Good job, Shirley Ann. What is the
plus the third sector is probably the private sector. If you want to rent out hotels or barracks or whatever else to house people.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying here.
But what does a social justice secretary have to do with non-citizens eliciting funds?
Cabinet post. It's just a cabinet post they have put in there in Scotland. So it's for social planning, social security, and third sector planning as well. So I presume hotels and so on. Not just for migrants, but for everyone, I would presume.
Okay. Well,
really good pay, by the way. Really good pay.
I think I'm going to apply for that job. I wouldn't mind moving to Scotland. I'd be
closer to you. I think we have two. I'd say we have two chances.
Oh yeah, none of them good, right? All right. So apparently, Scotland's social justice secretary Shirley Ann Somerville said the Scottish government had urged the Home Office to work closely with Highland Council. There's more of that vague language. Not I have a solution. Where's your solution? And why is it social justice?
Just pass on to the next secretary down the line. Sorry, but that's what it sounds like.
Well, it's all this political gobbledygook language. Like, I really like solutions to problems, right? What this looks like is plausible deniability. Well, this looks like plausible deniability. Well, I told you to work closely together. I told you to do with the thing. Right. If you're a secretary, why don't you take your secretary powers and go fix this, or I fire you because I'm the secretary and you're not doing the job, right? I don't. When I don't do the job at my job, fired from the job.
I think the social secretary was just landed with this file on her desk, but it looks like. Oh wow!
A UK government minister.
If you read down later on, you'll see why. It sounds like she just got landed with this.
All right. A UK government minister
landed with this from the Home Office. The Home Office landed this on her desk.
Oh, sent him some information. Here you go. All right. A UK government minister said the move would allow them to close asylum hotels at a faster rate.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. Cameron Barracks is a 140-year-old military base near Inverness city centre.
Yeah. Initially, it probably wasn't a city sector when it initially built it, in fairness.
Well, for military bases in the United States, there'd be fellers out there with firearms and a pretty negative attitude.
Yeah, but you have to remember the UK's military has been downsized quite a lot over the years.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Well, it's not as large as it used to be. It's about what?
Well, that's a bad thing. Well, I think you only have 9,000 active and 21,000 reserves. I think it's worse than that, man.
But you have to remember their defense budget as well has gone down quite a bit because their economy is not as powerful as it used to be in its heyday, as I say.
Yeah. Well, the sun never set. Yeah. One council said it understood the property would be used in phases as transitional accommodations from early December for up to 12 months. That's not going to happen because every time they say it's for X amount of time, it always ends up being more time, right?
Oh yes, yeah. Just extend the contract.
Yeah, just put in a change order and say, nope, it's going to be for 7 years.
Yes.
And then we're going to go ahead and burn out more of the taxpayers' money. And then you're going to see more orders of St. George and Union Jacks. And
I can see why a military bases makes sense from a British point of view, because they do have quite a lot of abandoned bases all up and down the UK. So it does make sense. But the problem is a lot of these communities have built around these bases now.
right.
But yeah, it's going to be one of those things.
Well, in the United States, what happens is there's politicians that want military bases in their area because there's a lot of contracts that go out, and it's really, really good money, right? It's guaranteed because it's the government, unless it's in a shutdown, of course. But yeah, there's all kinds of accommodations. They have to be cared for, all the grounds and landscaping and feeding soldiers and support for fixing vehicles and IT. And it's just a lot of jobs. Right. So they wrap those communities around those things. And as those things go down and they're less and less used by whatever government, then those contracts start to dry up. Right. So just getting any bodies in there at all is going to help the community out. But the problem is the bodies you're putting in there are warfighting aged males. And it's been shown functionally that some of them don't act right, as we covered a couple episodes ago with our first Spotify episode. So
Wow. Yeah.
Oh, hello, Spotify. Hello. Want to say hello real quick. Hello. All right. One council said it understood the property would be used in phases as traditional accommodations, transitional accommodation from early December for up to 12 months. It said it had requested additional information from the Home Office about the plans for the city. The Inverness area has a population of about 83,000. The council's independent governor, I'm going to say that's convener. Oh, it's convener. What's a convener?
He's probably the head of their council. It's independent head of council.
Got it.
And he's leader, and he's Scottish National Party. Okay.
Leader and Scottish National Party councillor Raymond Bremer. Oh, Raymond Bremer's the SNP. And opposition leader and Lib Dem Alistair Christie said they only received written confirmation from the UK's government plans on Monday. Okay, so they just got this thing hot on the desk. Okay.
Yes, pretty much, yeah.
All right. Let's scroll down a little bit here. In their statement, the senior counselors said, we await more details on how Inverness was selected over the other available locations and how community cohesion will be maintained given the large number of asylum seekers planned relative to the local population. Yeah, it's going to be just, 1.5%, 2%, right?
Yeah, but still, they probably have security concerns and all the other concerns that come with housing so many people like that.
Warfighting age males that are unsecured in an area where they're choosing, or have for the most part chosen not to assimilate, that have nothing to do during the day and you're just going to walk around your town that close to the city center. Yeah. That's a problem.
Yeah, because you're going to have a lot of social problems that come with idle hands, as they say.
Right.
Whereas we have all noticed across the G20 countries.
Yeah, it's not going well. Not going well. The UK government have informed us that their accommodations will be self-contained with all necessary services provided on site. Really? Is that what they say?
I wonder how they're going to do all that, I wonder, and a base so old.
Magic. It's magic. They're going to use magic. They're going to go to Hogwarts and they're going to get all the wizards they can, and they're just going to wave their little magic wands, and they're going to exporio petronium something, and it's just going to happen.
Is the Ministry of Defense, the MOD, are they going to take on responsibility for securing that building?
No, it's going to be the Ministry of Magic. The Ministry of Magic is going to do it. It's got to be the Ministry of Magic. I can't. Yeah,
it's going to be very, very interesting. Very interesting to what they did. I love to see their plans. They're fully drawn up plans for this.
The asylum seekers.
It doesn't sound like they even thought that far ahead yet.
No, the asylum seekers are non-detained, meaning they will be free to leave their site should they wish. So is the local council going to be able to review all the people that come in and say, we don't want this individual who has no past apparently at all, and we don't know anything about them? Are they going to have any input on that? Or is the Home Office just going to shove them right on in there and go, nope, they're good?
I think the Home Office is going to just shove it down their throat, by the sounds of it.
Nice.
No matter what they say or do.
Cameron Barracks sits on a hilltop near Inverness City Center, close to Regmore Hospital, supermarkets, and fast food takeaways. Interesting.
Okay. As you can see by the map, it's literally just in the city center.
Yeah, it's right on the right hand side. Yeah, that's insane.
So it's pretty close to everything.
Well, I guess they can get all the takeaway they want with the money that they're, getting from the citizens of the UK and Scotland.
Yeah.
Island Council will hold a special meeting on the plans next Thursday. Oh, Social Justice Secretary is back again. Shirley Ann Somerville said the Home Office is responsible for the provision of all asylum accommodations, and we're aware that they are considering accommodating people seeking asylum in Cameron Barracks. We have raised our concerns about the suitability of the site with them and have urged them to engage closely. Again, we're engaging closely. Notice that?
Yes, this is the Home Office. They're just going to shove it down your throat, lads. I'm just going to say that straight away.
But they're going to engage closely with Highland Council and
other
service
there's
providers.
Some very polite letters and emails back, and that'll be it, really, to be honest. That'll be it.
Yeah.
Down there.
Pretty much. That's how that's going to work out. The move comes just months after the Ministry of Defense said it was phasing out the use of the 140-year-old barracks as a site for housing people from Afghanistan who have risked their lives helping the UK armed forces.
Okay, so it was used for housing people before. Okay. I thought it was one of those abandoned barracks. This is not.
Well, no,
okay.
While I understand that, how do they know all of those people risked their lives helping the UK armed forces? Like, how do they know this? That doesn't...
No, it was when everyone ran out of Afghanistan that time. A lot of the UK did secure off a lot of its workers that were Afghani citizens. And I was wondering, I remember they got a couple of thousand came over to UK under that banner. I was wondering where they housed them actually.
Well, if they're interpreters and actually perform functions in foreign countries to help the UN forces, that's acceptable. But is it just them or their families, or you know what I'm saying? Like,
the US did the same thing when they pulled out of Afghanistan as well. They secured as many people and families as they could of the workers who work for the forces over there at the time.
For the Afghanistan pullout, that was don't get me started. We will have a long episode if you let me get rolling.
That was like the last playing out of Saigon kind of type move, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, not great.
No.
The Minister of Defense said at the time. It should say the Ministry of Magic, but it says the Minister of Defense said that at the time the barracks would be returned to use as a military base. I understand those barracks are over 140 years old. Like, they probably need to be revamped.
In fairness to the British, we use quite a lot of their older bases up to this day, actually. They do stand up the test of time. They build them quite well.
Well, 140 years ago, they didn't have power or indoor plumbing in a lot of places, so...
Yeah, but they have been modernized since. I know Collins Barracks and so on, that we use quite a lot of the old bases as well from the UK. And the UK was over here.
Well, as long as the jakes are good and it's got hot water, I'm pretty much satisfied.
Yeah, pretty much did. Yeah,
hot water's the important one. Well, after a day of training, I really want a hot shower, right?
Yeah.
Refugee charity Care for Calais said placed asylum seekers in military sites would be complete failure for the UK government policy. Chief executive of what? Maybe Care for Calais? He said opening more camps will only serve to re-traumatize more people who have already survived horrors such as war and torture. Is that the asylees? Or who's he talking about?
He's talking about the asylees.
Okay.
It would damage their feelings.
Oh, right. The hurt feelings reports. Got it. Not luxury accommodation. The UK government has pledged to end the use of asylum hotels, which have cost billions of pounds and become a focal point for anti-migrant protests by the next election. Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer, told the BBC he had told Home Office and Ministry defense officials to go faster, go further to locate appropriate military sites. Speaking to BBC Northwest Tonight, Starmer said he was, in quotes, really pleased that more asylum seekers would be housed on military bases, in quotes, by the end of the year. That's really annoying. The constituents want them gone. They don't want them there at all. Like that should be it shouldn't be hey, we're really happy about transition. It should be touchdowns, right? Goals. We should be getting goals and touchdowns. Later, Downing Street refused to be drawn on whether moving asylum seekers out of hotels into former military barracks would save money. PM spokesman said cost of using barracks would vary from site to site. No, those things are already being paid for by the government.
No, they're already been. Yeah, you're right.
So it should reduce the cost from luxury.
Even though it costs equal money, it's the fact that people will be very slow to come into your country if they know where they're going. The big difference from going from a hotel into a barracks. Go that way.
No, it wouldn't change it because the place they're from still sucks.
Yeah.
Right?
Hmm.
So if the place that you're from sucks,
it might slow down some of them, though. It might slow down some of them, maybe.
Yeah.
But for optics, it looks better if they're housed in a barracks than in a hotel.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
The problem with that is that they're going to be forced to interact, and there's going to be people, Sunni and Shiite, and all kinds of other brands of Islam and foreign countries that have low living standards are going to be housed in like bunk beds in barracks, right? That's a problem because they'll be forced to interact. At least in the hotels, there's going to be less physical interaction between them, and they can all get in their corners.
Most of these hotels have a bunk style system, but each room will kind of allocated to a specific person or country.
Yeah, place of origin. Yeah, but if you can't do that and you're just slapping them in alphabetically, you're going to get people who are really not going to interact well at all. And if it's not secured, then you're going to end up with more 17-year-olds knifing 17-year-olds, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Because your Eastern Europeans are not fans of Arab countries. They're just not. And there's going to be conflict. So, all right. And that's just because people are people. Earlier, Defense Minister Luke Pollard told BBC Breakfast that the military sites were not luxury accommodations by any means, but adequate for what is required. Yes. That will enable us to take pressure off the asylum hotel estate and enable those to be closed at a faster rate. So the problem with that is there should not be an asylum hotel estate. Like that should not have ever become a thing.
It should no. But I think with the sheer numbers that came in the last number of years, they just panicked and stuck them anywhere there was space. It's probably the easiest way. Their systems were just completely overwhelming. Both are islands.
England has farms. England has farmland, right?
Yeah.
They have tents. Yeah, you've heard of tents, right? Yeah. Put them in a big field in tents. Figure it out. I know that sounds like a wonderful idea, but I think what happened at the time is everyone just panicked and just stuck them everywhere. I thought they probably thought hotels were the easiest and cheapest option, which worked out it wasn't the easiest or cheapest option. It didn't work out well for anyone, really, to be honest, the hotel scenario. No, not at all.
Countries, by the way. No.
All right. Where are we at here? Liberal Democrat MP for Inverness, Skye, and West Rothshire, Angus MacDonald, said he supported the use of military sites to house asylum seekers, but that the chosen base seemed a bit odd given it is in the city center. That does seem a bit odd. Well, because there's takeaways and there's just an opportunity for a lot of interaction for
facilities. Yeah, I know there's facilities in place, but still, it's putting that many people into the middle of a city like that is just asking for trouble.
Right, when it becomes
if they're undocumented, by the looks of it.
Right, and if it's 2% of your population, that's going to be a problem. Right, if 1 and 2 out of every 100 people, and they're going to be walking around in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. All right. It's effectively the same, he told BBC Radio 4's Today program, adding that to his knowledge, it was an open barracks without security, and that's a problem too. Right. I very much thought the idea of putting them in army camps was to have them out of town and make them less of an issue for the local population.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, well, yeah, but then you put them right in the city center. That does seem like a bit of an odd choice. But the metro area for these cities with their bases that were outside of them are a lot of times now, based on development, going to be a whole lot closer to city centers based on just the development of your infrastructure, right?
And population and so on.
Fergus Ewing, the independent MSP for Inverness and Nairn, said residents had contacted him concerned about how secure and suitable the barracks are. He said, in the few hours since the news broke, I've already received numerous messages from constituents expressing deep concern, distress, and anger. Oh, yeah, of course. Who knew? I don't even want to see that. All right. He said, in the few hours since the news broke, I've already received numerous messages. Yes, the people of Inverness are compassionate and welcoming, but this decision has been made without any local dialogue, planning, or reassurance about safety, security, and support arrangements. Well, again, it's been just a few days. So, but remember, the social justice secretary said that she has directed them to work closely. So it should turn out okay. It should be great. Scottish Conservative MSP for Highlands and Island Edward Mountains also criticized the lack of consultation and described the barracks as the barracks plan as back of a cigarette packet idea.
Yes.
Interesting.
I haven't heard that in a long time.
Wow, that's a Scottish country boy right there. That's Scotland's version of a hillbilly.
Yeah, I've heard of that in my neck of the woods as well.
That's been a hot minute. Arian Burgess, Scottish Green there's a Scottish Green too. MSP for Highlands and Islands. Green Party everywhere. Said the move would be deeply disrespectful for both asylum seekers and Highland communities.
It's interesting actually the Green Party person speaking out against it. They're normally about peace and love and hugging trees, aren't they?
Well, pretty much. Yeah. But I can understand when your constituency tells you something, sometimes, regardless of who it is, if there's enough input from your constituency, you will let the press know, hey, my people say this and they're not cool with this at all. You know?
And if you scroll, we will scroll down the article here now before we finish up. You'll see that's the true figures.
Is this the one that had that?
Yeah. Scroll up a bit. There you go.
All right. We'll just spit some numbers. Here we go.
Yeah.
How many asylum seekers are there in the Highlands? Since January 22nd, Highland Council has supported asylum-seeking children through the Home Office's National Transfer Scheme. The local authority, working with charities and other organizations, set up the Comrack service in December 2022 to lease accommodations for 56 young people aged 16 and over. Latest Home Office data from June shows the Highland Local Authority area, with a population of 236,330, also had 143 people living there under the Afghan resettlement program. A further 438 Ukrainians have moved to the area under resettlement scheme launched after the Russian invasion. The first scheme supported by the Highland Council was the Vulnerable Persons Resettlement Scheme of 2016. It enabled families from Syria to be resettled. Across Scotland, there are a total of 6,017 asylum seekers, a figure that has been steadily rising in recent years, in line with the record number of applications across the UK, but only accounts for 0.11% of Scotland's total population. And the vast majority of asylum seekers in Scotland, 4,150.
Glasgow's the largest city. But if you think about it, they're going to house 900. So they're adding an extra third on top. They're adding another 16%. That's only for one base.
Yeah, that's going to be a bit of a problem, isn't it? All right. Well,
if they open up all the rest of the bases, you can imagine that number will double or triple.
Oh, for sure.
I think having those numbers there at the end of this episode really shows the impact it's going to have in the long-term numbers. If they open this, that's just one base that they're planning to open up.
Right.
If they open up the rest of the bases, if they open 10 bases, we open 10 bases in Scotland. That's an extra 9,000 people.
Right, and that's not good at all. So,
no.
All right. In the show notes, we're going to have a third article that you guys can peruse, and I'll actually bring it up so you can take a quick look at it. It's this one here. And it is, what are the government's options on asylum seeker accommodation? And we discussed some of that stuff already, and apparently the social justice secretary is going to have everybody working closely together to make sure everybody's needs are met.
Hold hands.
Yes,
everyone hold hands.
We're going to hug this one out. We're going to sing Kumbaya, and we're all going to have s'mores. I'll bring the chocolate. Patrick's got the graham crackers. One of y'all bring the marshmallows. We're going to have fun. All right.
Yes, there we
go. For Patrick
go.
McCallum, I am Alex Johansson. Like, subscribe, ring the bell, do all the things, and help us beat the algorithm. We're the A&P Gents, and we are out.